Hey guys, my name is Thomas Decker and I'm here to give you my Module 7 video for AEP 855. So I went with the title of Frame Your Philosophy, mostly because I like alliterations. So I needed a couple of questions to help determine the hierarchy that I was going to end up coming up, that I ended up coming up with. What is your primary focus? What vision are you going to share with your school? And how do you justify your vision? As you can see here, we have the principal at the very top, we have the students and teachers in one bubble, and then off to the side we have office staff, and then we have all these extras around them. So we'll get into why I think I went with the extras around 3 central themes, because, oh, we'll get into it. But I wanted you to have a picture of what the graph looks like, and then we'll come back to it and explain some of the movement there. So first of the 3 is the principal. The principal is required to be the head of the school. They are the origin of the vision that is being implemented, while they are not the focus of the plan. They are the creator of the structures and the first line of implementation. So really kind of a fancy way of saying, even though a principal should not be the focus of a school plan, on the other side of the coin, they are the originator of the plan that they are not the focus of. So it is very powerful and necessary to make sure that the principal is in a healthy place so that the plan can be healthy, so that the system can be healthy. Number 2, the teachers and the students are symbiotic. A healthy system requires both parties to be focused and empowered. If one of the parties is negative due to personal or professional reasons, or negatively impacted by exterior sources, those little bit of fringes that I showed you a second ago, then the whole system begins to suffer. Teachers and students are too close together in how they both need to succeed in order for the system to really profit. A successful student can be successful even sometimes in spite of a bad teacher. But bad teachers create bad students. That's the reality of it. So if you have someone who is really negative or really just unprofessional with their students, they create that in their student body. And so you have to, as the principal, bring all of that back in. And when one is healthy, the others tend to become healthier until they become healthy themselves, or they leave the system. This is number 3. The system needs a focused group of people to keep the building and basics possible to access. If the food is bad, the kids are now in a bad mood and everything suffers. Bathroom's a mess, nobody's happy. No paper to make the last minute handouts, now there's no extra credit to round out the grades that the teacher and the students expected in their view of success for that week. While they are less the focus than the students and the teachers, I would say they might even be step 3. The support staff make the world work. Their needs are as important as any other piece in the system. All the small little bitty things that make a school work, if any of those things fail, it takes hours, days, weeks to get everything back up to the running start that you needed for the students and the teachers. So let's get back to the graph and talk about some of that movement. While you have the principal, we've already gone over the principal, and I feel that that was pretty succinct. So we'll move on to the students and the teachers. While their relationship is the primary focus, parents, community, and alumni are integral parts of the relationship being healthy for the students and the teachers. If the parents are in a bad way, financially, emotionally, legally, the students are going to suffer. And a good teacher can bring the students back from that. But now they're fighting an uphill battle. The community, same way. Bad communities create negatively impacted students in a big way. So as the principal, then it's important to bring the community into the school, but also bring the school into the community. If the community is negative, but the school is positive, you got to water down that negativity with all the positivity that the school can create. That way, less negative comes into your school so that everything is healthier. The system requires that. And alumni, it is really important to show kids and teachers that success is long-lasting. That A means something outside of the schoolroom. It can have an effect on the jobs that you have, the credit you can take out at a school for loans and things like that. All those things are necessary. And finally, we have the office staff, which the paraprofessionals, the cooks, the maintenance personnel, and the custodians are all part of that. In my mind, that they are all subsets of office staff. Even though the office staff is like the secretaries and things like that. It works a little differently. But they all have to have the right materials. You don't want a secretary to be working on your electrical. That's just not going to help anyone. You need custodians that have all the cleaning supplies that they're supposed to have. You need cooks that have ingredients and food that isn't immediately just disgusting to everyone around them. I mean, let's just be honest, we've all had the cafeteria lunch that did not work out how everyone really envisioned that it should look. Salisbury steak is the one that sticks in my head the most. The paraprofessionals, student teachers, aides, things like that. In some cases, their relationships with the students are as important as the teachers, if not more so, because they are specifically attached to a very small group of children most of the time. I would argue that they are teachers in that particular instance rather than aides, because the aides put the teacher at the focus, whereas a paraprofessional, in my mind, is attached to the kids more. So I don't know, that maybe my definitions are a little bit off, but that's kind of how I view that relationship. When all of these things work in tandem, you have the office staff and everything that goes along with them, influencing the teachers and the students in health, comfort, and happiness. Those aspects alter the back and forth between the teachers and the students. Then you have the teachers and the students being affected mostly, largely, by these other three sources: parents, community, and alumni. And while students and teachers are definitely the focus of everything, how that relationship gets started and how it's set up originally is the principal and the objectives and goals that the principal has set in motion. If the principal is kind of a laissez-faire, kind of a style of individual, that's going to translate and soak into the school culture. Now, that could be positive, that could be very negative. It kind of depends on the objectives and the statements that are being made. A really healthy culture will have elements of so many different styles of leadership that it becomes almost impossible to really detect a primary form. So ultimately, I think it's necessary to have the students and teachers at the focus. Mostly the students, but because of their proximity, the teachers get a huge amount of that focus as well. And that focus needs to be by the principal and everyone else through the principal's goals. then the office staff, and their effect on the community as a whole. So I hope that that answers any questions about my philosophy. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good one.